Alright, so hi everybody, my name is Ethan. I'm from 1718 The Fighting Pie, and we're about to do a seminar on business planning. And I'm here with my awards captain and one of my awards members. You can introduce yourselves.
I'm Lauren, I'm our awards and submissions captain, and I'm a sophomore.
I'm Charlotte, I am on mechanical, and I'm a sophomore.
Okay, so a mission statement. Our mission statement is to grow future leaders for the advancement of FIRST and STEM within our community, state, nation, and world. A mission statement is exactly what it's called. It's a statement. It doesn't have to be a paragraph, and it's something that you want to decide with your whole team on what it is. You don't want just one person to be designated to decide on what your mission statement needs to be. This is something that your whole team can learn. So you want it to be easy. You don't want it to be super long, and you don't have to change it up every year. You can use the same one every year if you would like, as long as it's what your team is following. So we will have more details on what the mission statement is in further slides. But overall,
Hey, how are you?
you just want to base your events and what you're doing off of your mission statement. So for us, that's what we do. We grow future leaders for the advancement of FIRST and STEM. So if you don't do that, this will not be the mission statement.
Exactly. So a mission statement is kind of a sentence that your team can go by. It's something that we like to plan all of our events around. So if we have, say, like we want to do something like this, like a seminar, we look for our mission statement. Would this be growing future leaders? By teaching you about how to create a business plan, you can possibly lead students in the future from your team, teaching them how to create a business plan. So yes, this would fall under the category of our mission statement. So that's the kind of criteria that you want to be able to build through your mission statement to see if an event would even fall under it. So up next here we have our vision statement. And your vision statement is going to be a little bit longer than your mission statement. And what it's going to do is it's going to provide a way for you to fulfill your mission. It's more or less just a way for you to better understand how to apply your mission statement into your everyday activities. So ours, for example, is, as a team, our goal is to spread the message of FIRST by educating all students in the fields of math, science, engineering, and technology, providing real-life experiences and opportunities to further their knowledge and skills. We hope to bring students and mentors together to work towards common goals and promote citizenship and social development within the surrounding communities. So, like I said earlier, this is kind of like a way to take your mission statement and use it as even more of a guide. The vision statement that we have set up here lets us also, once again, proof over the events that we do. So we want to make sure that no matter what kind of event we're leading or kind of presentation we're doing, that it always falls under both of our mission statement, and we can go through a vision statement to better check to see if it's actually going to be qualified or not. And like I said earlier, it will be longer than your mission statement, obviously.
You want to be able to connect yourselves. You want to have a way to connect yourself. You want to have a purpose all together rather than being separated. You want to work as a team. And that's why you will have a purpose statement. Impact is how you impact others. Not only yourselves, but work amongst everyone. Slogans and mottos, that's also another way to connect with each other. Because if you're not connected, if you don't have a way to connect, you don't have words that you can think and then laugh about as a team and connect with other people, then it just doesn't work right. It may also be adopted, so you can also get it from other teams because that is connection through FIRST. And our infinite possibilities is our motto, and you can't spell epic without pi, and that's us.
Right, so like she's saying, you can also apply slogans and mottos to your team. They're just kind of like another section of literature that you can use to define yourselves. So for an example, we have our motto as infinite possibilities. It's a short phrase that tells our students one of the things that we offer them. We like to offer every student that goes through our program infinite possibilities for the rest of their future. We also have a slogan to kind of provide a name and a so short explanation of our team, just so that other people can read it and know quickly who we are. And it's, you can't spell epic without pi. And yeah, it's just a little clever, fun kind of thing. But like she was saying earlier with purpose statements and impact statements, it's other types of things similar to mission and vision statements that you can also adopt. It's all just levels of literature to show yourself and other teams and anybody that be reading through your business plan what you do. So up next we have communication. And communication is a really important part of any sort of business when you're trying to create a business plan. For our team, for example, we use weekly student leadership meetings where we take all of our captains and all of our supervisors and we sit them all down in one room and talk about any sort of conflicts or things that we've had going on that week. And by doing this, we can resolve any conflicts that any particular section has, anything that's going on between two separate sections. If some sort of work balance isn't getting done correctly, we can make sure that that is quickly resolved and that we're staying as productive as possible. By using these meetings, we are able to streamline the process of running the team. We also have student leadership and mentor meetings post the regular student leadership meetings. So after just the student, like captains and everything, is done speaking, we run it with the mentors to make sure that everything that we're doing checks under all the jobs that they previously allocated to everybody. So we want to make sure that everybody is doing all the jobs that they're supposed to be sectioned off to do. We also use Remind 101 as a great way to communicate to others because it just talks to the whole team at once and gets the message out very quickly. Communication is really important specifically for a business plan because it lets students both talk to each other more so they can figure out a clear mission statement and vision statement and all the literature I was talking about before, but also an increase in well-balanced communication allows your whole team to strive for one goal, which is pretty much what you're going for.
When creating your business plan, the entrepreneurship submission is a great place to start. You want your business plan to embody the entirety of your team. So you want it to explain your origin, your team structure, finances and budget, handling funds, purchase orders, anticipate potential issues that may arise and how to respond to those issues. You can have a student handbook as well as bylaws, but these will not count as your business plan.
Okay, so like I was talking about earlier with communication, we have various sections of student leadership, and this is also really important for trying to structure your business side of your team. So you must have strong leadership on both business and build. This is a huge thing that many teams might not realize. Because there seems to be a lot of focus on the build side of everything for every team because the robots are the attraction for first, and that's what gets everybody really interested in it. But we want to be able to disperse the leaders of the team, the business side and build side, to drive up productivity on both sides to keep the team focused and moving as quickly as possible. We also offer student leadership positions to students on our team so that they can learn the leadership skills that we talk about in our mission statement. Like I said earlier, events that are going on based on the mission statement. We also have a very clear and defined team structure that we'll talk about next, where we outlay what the role of all of our captains and supervisors are, so everybody knows exactly what's going on. Also, you want to make sure that your student leadership on your team is based on strong leaders and not just who's the most popular or who won an award. You want to make sure that these are based on the people that can truly lead your team to the best and most successful they can possibly be.
We have our team structure, which is build and business. We have supervisors, so that way we can keep a hold of the whole team and the sides. And then underneath build, we have CAD, controls, strategy, and mechanical. Underneath strategy, we have our drive team, which they communicate very well. And then mechanical, we have safety, because that's mostly everything. Safety is mostly under mechanical and electrical. And then we have awards and presentations, chairman's presentation team, outreach, bookkeeping, media, and partnership.
Right.
Oh, sorry. The main key about this is that you want to have your whole team connected. Even though we have build and a business, that doesn't mean there's two different sides to the team. Even though they're categorized in different things, that doesn't mean the mechanical is better than controls. You are all one as a team.
Right. These are all student-led and controlled positions. So our build supervisor is one of our older students that works to oversee to make sure all the CAD work's getting done, all the controls work's getting done, all the strategy work's getting done, and all the mechanical work's getting done. Our business supervisor looks over the awards and presentations, make sure all they're getting done. Outreach makes sure all that's getting done. Looks over media and partnership to make sure all parts of the team are working as effectively as possible. We also meet between our two supervisors to talk about all the stuff that we have going on in our respective sections, so all team members can stay informed on team progress and what's going on. This team structure was created 3 years ago and has been the most effective team structure that we've had yet. So at the end of our business plan, we have what we call a sustainability plan. It's still part of the actual business plan, but it's just an end kind of section. Here we create a SWOT analysis and a risk analysis. These are two very important aspects to the business plan, if not the most important, because they offer, for when you encounter issues from your team, they offer quick and easy ways to resolve said issues. So for an example, we lost our build space about 5 years ago when we lost space at the Ford plant. So we went to our risk analysis, looked through all the sections that we had and possible issues that we could encounter. Luckily for us, loss of build space was actually one of the issues. We went through the exact process that was listed under the risk analysis, and we resolved the issue quickly and effectively. That's why I believe it's really important to have a risk analysis and SWOT analysis plans, so that even when your team encounters maybe like a really large issue, you can really quickly and really effectively resolve it. We've also had issues like loss of mentors, and this was resolved in the same way. Also, when you're creating a SWOT analysis and a risk analysis, you want to have a really honest team conversation about issues that you might have. You might not want to talk about some of the issues that might be coming up, but you have to be truly honest to your team about trying to get it to run as effectively as possible, so if you do encounter some of these larger problems in the future, you can resolve them.
Okay, so this is a picture of what our SWOT analysis is. It shows our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So these are things, you really want stuff that you can control, because if you can't control it, there's really nothing you can do. So like an example would be the weather. You kind of want to plan things accordingly to make sure that you're still on track with your schedule, so that in case, say there's something with the weather or just something that you didn't have control over, you're not going to get behind because of that, and that's not going to hurt your team in any way.
Exactly. The SWOT analysis is one of the great ways to organize your team, so that you know what your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. So in case you encounter any of the weaknesses or threats, you're prepared. And when you come across something that's your strength or your opportunity, you make sure you tackle it and approach it the best you possibly can. We were really honest about this. We talked about some of our weaknesses, our focus, and individual fundraising, whereas some of our strengths are leadership and our mission statement. You want to be, like I said, really honest when you're creating your business plan, because that creates better success for the future of your team.
This is our risk analysis. This is just things that we think would happen to our team, and it has a plan for us in case it does. So, like you said, you have to be honest. So, say with like captain removal and stuff, you have to know stuff that your team is susceptible to have as a problem, and then you have a plan to prevent that from happening, or if it does happen, you can have a solution for it. Think of everything that could happen and how to deal with them. So when you're making a risk analysis, you have to just think of anything that could happen with your team and find a solution, so that if something were to happen, you're prepared.
We want our students to have the most experience that they can, so we have the feeder system, which bases on seniors giving information to new first years or any first to second years, so that way we can have a very efficient team and keep continuing.
Right. So basically the way that we run our feeder system is that we have seniors get to teach the students what's going on. We have juniors that are set to specifically lead the team and organize their specific sections. We have sophomores, which are the main workforce of the team, or the doers, and we have the freshmen, which are just there to learn. And by using this structure for the 4 different year students, we can effectively get all of our students to go through the 4-year program and turn over, even though they only have 4 years that they can work through our team. They're passing their knowledge to younger members so that our team can be as effective as possible in the future too. It's really important. So some of our future goals here are your future goals section is another section for your business plan, where you will talk about the different things that you might be trying to accomplish in the future. Once again, honesty is one of the biggest policies when it comes to creating a business plan because you want to keep it as open-ended and as drive it to be as successful as possible. So this is another section that's based on mission and vision, which are essentially the most important parts of the business plan. And when you're setting these future goals, you want to make sure that they're actually realistic goals. You don't want to say, oh, I want to be 8-time world champion year after year after year after year after year. You want to make sure that it's a goal that's actually reasonable for your team and that you can achieve in the near future. You should also, your team should also have a really a want and a drive to be able to accomplish these tasks. If the team's not actually interested in going to do the presentation or trying to go and win the competition, then there's really no point in setting it as a future goal. You want to make sure your goals are reliable.
Know your focus, know where you want to get to, know where you're starting, and know everything that you want to plan for. Base your team on sustainability. Basically, base your team on risk analysis, because if you have one little chip out of your block, it wouldn't work. You got to have a backup chip. You got to get this. So keep business and build communication open. Keep your team connected.
Exactly. So if you guys have any questions about anything, which I'm pretty much guaranteed that you do because there's always questions about this kind of stuff, you're welcome to ask now, and then if we run over time, we can go to the other room across the hall and continue to ask questions. Also, we have an email, team17@gmail.com, or any of those type of resources that you can use to contact us. Yes?
So what do you suggest for a small team that has 8 students? Or 10
Well, what I
students?
suggest is the main thing you want to focus on is, if I can get back at is the first thing you want to definitely do is you're going to want to start with creating a mission and vision statements. This, like I said earlier, will be something that will definitely organize your team and tell them exactly what your team wants to pursue in the future. You can have all, how many students you said? 8?
8 to 10.
Right. You want to have your whole team just sit down in one room and talk about what your team's goal is. And then once you have that, you can create some sort of way to word it so that it makes an effective business mission statement, that is short, condensed, and talks about exactly what your team wants to do in the future. Then after you create your mission, you can create a vision statement that talks about how you will build the mission statement. And once you have those two done, you can start to plan events around those two statements. So for example, like if you want to do a parade or something, and your mission statement talks about improving your community around you, then improving your community would be something the parade would provide, so yes, I would like to do that event. But if it's something that doesn't fall under your mission statement, then maybe lean away from it. It's just a way to show exactly what your team's goals are. That was the first thing, the first 2 things.
But how do you, when you've got only 8 to 10 students, how do you get all those goals, all those build a business slots?
We start off with
We don't.
15 members. We
We don't.
actually started off with 15 members, and we only had certain sections. And once your team builds up, you can work on getting those other sections. But at first, we only started with one build supervisor, a mechanical captain, and electrical.
Right, we had, yeah, exactly, one business captain, one mechanical, one electrical, so that's how we started. Once we started with 3 simple sections, and then as our team grew, we needed more managers to make sure we were being effective with all of our key students. So we continued to grow our team structure dynamic as we grew.
Yes.
So you were talking about the feeder system and for the freshmen on the team, would they be getting any experience at all, or would that be saved for the next year that they are on the robotics?
We definitely get experience.
So I'll cheat and answer this.
Okay.
The way we look at it, our seniors are generally our leaders. Seniors should be teaching the replacement. They should be teaching the juniors to step up the next years. The juniors are experienced people. They've built bots before. They've done business before. They've done chairmans before. They do, the sophomores do, and they teach the freshmen. But if we get a freshman in who's perfectly good at running the mill, well, we're not going to teach them to run the mill. We're going to try to teach them something else. But the freshmen don't sit around and do nothing. that's my actual job on the team. I don't like people sitting doing nothing. It really annoys me. So I herd the cats. I find something for them to do. It might be unpleasant, but we make sure everybody does it. One of my big things is I want every person on the team to at least put one rivet in the robot. So the robot shows up in the field, it's not Mech's robot or Control's robot, it's our robot. But we get our freshmen fully involved, but we understand that they're probably not ready to be a leader in the mech room unless there's an extraordinary person. So we get them involved. We want, and part of the reason we have a big team, and part of the reason we have this number of captaincies and leadership positions is we want all of our upperclassmen to get into a leadership position to get that skill. So when you go to college and you're put on a team, they say, can you lead this team? You'll be ready to go. But our freshmen don't sit around, don't get that impression. But freshmen are inherently less knowledgeable and unsafe in the build room until they've been taught by the upperclassmen and the skilled sophomores how to do things.
And another strategy that we use, we have training opportunities before the build season, so that way any seniors can reach out to freshmen in extra time that they may not get during the build season.
In the rare time or like experience that a freshman is knowledgeable and has that knowledge, would you put them in like a higher position than what they would normally be in?
Well, we don't really put them in the position. They have to get nominated or nominate themselves, and then our whole team votes on who we think would be the best leader. So I am a sophomore and I am a captain myself, so for me to have been chosen to be the awards and submissions captain, they must have saw something in me as a freshman, and they saw that I was experienced enough to be put at such a higher position.
Exactly. At the end of every year, we have the voting, depending on what that student has done the year before, to show if they would be a reasonable captain or supervisor.
So we talked about like smaller size teams. What would you recommend for a team that's a little bit larger? We actually have 183 people on our team. And so, like, how would you manage, how would you suggest we like manage the people that are
Well, I'd probably say it's kind of the same way that I answered her question, where as you start with a smaller team, you don't really need as many captains because you're not leading as many people. But the larger and larger your team gets, you might want more representatives and more captains to organize a smaller chunk of people so that you don't have one captain trying to lead 40 members of the team. You can have one member leading 10, one member leading 10, one member, right? So the way I'd probably suggest is to split it up into different categories of all the different types of work that you're doing, and have a leader for all those different categories to work that as effective as possible.
Mr. Page.
So a quick comment is look at Bedford Express. Their team got large enough that they actually spun off a JV team. They build in the same place, they're all part of the same organization. The underclassmen have a separate robot, because with the number of people you have, it's almost impossible for everybody to spend all day working on a robot. On the good side is you can probably do shifts in meetings instead of trying to go 4, 5, 6 days a week. Maybe you can do 2 or 3 days a week. But yeah, the leadership positions, when your team is as large as your team, the communication problems we've talked about become even more important. And one of the things you notice, our supervisor's job is to make sure everybody on their half of the house is talking and to make sure they talk. And our leads each make sure their 4 to 12 people are all talking. And I want to add on about the freshman comment. We have had some skilled freshmen. They could not be elected because they were not on the team at the end-of-year election banquets. But we have no fear of saying, you grab these 2 kids and go do this. So they're given not named leadership position, but they get leadership positions as we do things. And those people's names tend to come up for election the next year.
How do you make sure that all the freshmen that you have on your team stay until they're seniors and don't lose interest or anything?
Right, so that's kind of part of what we were saying with the whole sustainability thing, where we want to make sure that our team members are turning over and staying as effective as possible. So one way that we do that is we make sure that, like Mr. Payne said earlier, to get as many students as possible involved, and by actually like taking them through the process of showing them all the different things that they could possibly do, it keeps students really interested in what they could achieve in their future. We We also make, oh, sorry.
So my daughter started out in mechanical, went to controls, and then did 2 years of chairman's presentations. You are not a build person. Lily this year is doing something totally different than what she did before. I'm sorry we sucked you into the business side because you weren't intending to be a business person, were you? So there, you can always move. We actually have the inverse problem. We tend to pick up a lot of juniors and seniors as one-year wonders. And we find things where they can contribute very vastly. Right? What did we pick up, 3 this year?
We did.
So we tend to retain people because we're nice people. It's a lot of fun.
How do you recruit?
So, really our students are the main way that we recruit, by going out and giving demonstrations to like our elementary school about FLL, talking to our middle school students about FTC, working at pep rallies and presenting at school board meetings and all sorts of stuff like that. Really lets the whole student body know that we're something that that the school offers, and we're something that's really interesting. Also, our students just being able to talk about our team throughout the district also creates a really, like a big drive for students to come join our team, just because of how much we talk positively about it between others.
A lot of the time, like before I joined this team, my brother was on the team, and I wasn't really interested in robotics, but when I went to one of his competitions, I just saw how different it was from other sports and just other activities in general. So usually, sometimes if you have an older sibling, that will also grow interest for you, because if you would have asked me a couple years ago if I was going to be on a robotics team, I would have said no, but I dropped everything else I wanted to do to join this team because I thought it was that interesting.
So my school has 3 different independent teams.
Okay.
How would we be able to market our team while not diminishing the other team's chance at getting students on their team?
That's a good point. My idea for that would be trying to take representatives for each team and working together, like in a conference type thing, where all like the representatives of all teams talk about, okay, we are essentially just Lapeer Robotics,
Right.
just 3 different sections. We can all go out and talk about Lapeer Robotics as a whole, and then dependent on just like randomization where they end up. I'd say try to get your 3 teams kind of united, talking to each other, that
Okay.
we're not necessarily Strike Zone, Chimeras, and a 3rd team. We're just Lapeer Robotics.
Good, yeah.
Black
What, sorry?
tech invaders.
Oh, yeah, that's good. But yeah, that's what I would advise, is just trying to really just unite the teams and saying that, all right, we don't actually have to work together for every single little subject and everything, but
Right.
at least in our school district, we want to know ourselves as Robotics.
Maybe.
No problem. Any other questions? Yeah.
How do you get kids on your team to be enthusiastic about doing business things when they just might want to work on a robot?
That's a huge issue for a lot of teams, I've noticed, is that the robot is the main draw for everybody. Like, everybody sees it and they're like, okay, this is really cool because it's robotics, they have a robot, that's what you expect. But usually the main way that we try to diversify business from the other side of the team is we talk it up through all our different demonstrations that we're doing. We have our own separate like workspace from the build room. We have our own like little business room where it's a little bit quieter, which is nice. But the main thing is talking about the real importance that it has to the team. How sponsorship is under business, how media is under business, how it truly has a large impact on our team, and why it's so important to have students working into those categories, and why you really need representatives for those categories. I have mentors that are waiting to talk about.
And one of the most important things is your leadership and how you talk about business aspects of your team. Don't separate your team into them and us. It's all one team. And so it starts at your leadership and how you refer to whether it's your partnership team, your outreach team, and get all of our team members must be on business. And so they have ownership of things on the business side, as well as building robots.
So we have a couple events that are all hands on deck. We don't care if you're business or mech. You will participate in one of our exhibitions. you will help us with our Lego League tournament. The other way you can do this is you make it fun. And I will give you my example. I talked about my daughter. That's my younger daughter. She recruited my oldest daughter to come in and work for 1 year as a senior strictly on business because she went into public relations and business. That opens your team up not just to the gearheads and the electron pushers and the programmers, but all of a sudden you've got all these people that are looking at going into a business degree and say, hey, come on over here. We learn to make presentations, learn to give speeches, all those things that are business critical. Our robot team has those too. So it actually expands your recruitment. But we have certain things that certain level of participation is required because we like to support our business people. But if they don't do their job, we don't get the money to build your robot. That's a good hook.
Not only that, I like to go around the team. If I have something that I'm doing with presenting or just anything, I like to go around and be so enthusiastic, like, hey, you want to help me out with this? Like, find a couple photos, do some of this. It's really fun. Give them the easier jobs and then build them into it. Let them be enthusiastic about it like you. You have a good attitude, they'll have a good attitude.
Ask her.
You were talking about it, which is why I wanted to ask you. So you guys were saying how you have every person on your team involved with business in some way. So what's your stance on having a separate business team versus having your whole team involved with business?
So, although during like the build season we mostly have 2 branches that are both working at the same time, however on different topics, every dinner and every meal that we have together or every event that we're running together, it's always, we're not business, we're not build, we're 17 team. And that's a really big mindset that you have to have for your team is that when you're not strictly working on your business thing or not strictly working on your build thing, you are a member of your team. You're not one of those separate things.
So my favorite quote is Woody Flowers. The robot is the vessel. The robot is not the target. The robot is the mechanism by which we spread the word of FIRST. But if you don't fund the robot, if you don't have a good business team, you don't have a good business plan, you don't have a SWOT or a threat assessment or a risk assessment ready to go, then you're going to have difficulty sustaining your robot and getting your whole team in. So, and again, we get business people, Ethan, when was the last time you put in a rivet? Yeah.
Probably earlier this year.
He got to weigh the robot
You
yesterday.
got to weigh the robot
Just
yesterday.
to add,
We have business, literally, my oldest daughter has absolutely no interest in anything mechanical or electron, loves the business side. We've got a place for those people. But at the end of the day, if your chairman wins and your robot doesn't, well, some days we go up, some days we go down. But if the whole team doesn't pull together to support your business plan, you'll be out of business.
it's kind of separated because we want to get those certain jobs done, and if we don't get those certain jobs done, then it's not good. So when a certain job like mechanical is done and they're waiting on electrical, they'll come over and help the business side. That's how we are connected. And if business isn't working on any business, like I'm also a mechanical member, that's why I'm also a mechanical. I help out mechanical. I helped with the ramps and all that kind of stuff in my free time that I wasn't helping out them. So that's how I'm a part of both sides.
Do you guys have a named fiscal year, or do you follow a calendar year?
We use our own plan physical where it's June 1st throughout the rest of the year. Just so it's just based on the end of the season roughly, so that we can build
And then we
up
can
the season.
get sponsorships from June through December?
Exactly.
Yes.
Do you have a scouting plan?
Of course we do. That's under one of the more, like I said earlier, the team structure, it's more under the build side with strategy
Okay.
as being one of our 4 captainships there. But yeah, so we have our own our strategy captain that works over things like how we want to play the game, scouting, creating pick lists, working with other teams to keep good relations, stuff like that.
They also work directly with the drive team so that we know what to do during every match that we play.
So drive team is under strategy. If you're in drive team, you can still be in another subgroup also, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
our drive team, actually, we have our controls captain as our gunner and our build supervisor as our driver. So if you're on drive team, that doesn't mean like you can't go to any other aspect of the team. That just means you're part of drive team, but you can come from any side of the team you want.
It actually adds another layer of work to you, because now you only have to do your regular job, now you have to do the drive team stuff too.
Exactly, you want to make sure you have really devoted members to those kind of jobs, like your chairman's presentation team or your drive team. You want to have really focused members that are working in that section.
And there are tryouts for all of those different areas. It's not just because you're the controls captain, you get to be on the drive team. That's not how it works.
Exactly.
You have to try out.
Yeah.
How many team members do you guys have, and like, are you allowed to be in 2 subgroups at once in one year, or do you have to pick one and continue?
We have 43 members. I am in both subgroups. I'm basically part of the whole team. So actually, yes, because I help out. There's different days that you can help out with certain things, and like I mentioned earlier, when you're not working on build's business side, you can help out with build. So
There are students who are more devoted to certain aspects of the team, but everybody does everything.
How does
Right.
it?
So what year are you in school, and what year is this on the team for you?
I'm a freshman. Oh, I'm a first year on the team, and I am a sophomore.
This is my 3rd year on the team and I'm a junior.
This is my 2nd year and I'm a sophomore.
So as you can see, leadership and skills get promoted. I mean, Charlotte must have wowed him during the presentation trials. I wasn't in the room, so I can't say. But here we have a first year on the team person as one of our chairman's presenters. So yeah, if you show the talent, we'll help you.
Exactly.
Did you have another question?
I did. How do you overcome the stigma throughout your school community that robotics is a smart person thing? That you only want smart people.
Right, that's another, you're just drilling me today, aren't you? So that's another really big thing that, like a stereotype that we have to kind of overcome as a community is that robotics isn't just for the nerdy kid. Robotics is just a program for everybody. So it's once again, it's like a whole just team attitude thing. It's really like, if you just go around and just think, well, like, we're just a bunch of nerds, we don't really count that much. Versus as you think of it yourselves, it's like, we're just like any other varsity sport. Ours is just harder.
We want to make sure that everybody who wants to join the team but doesn't think they're like smart enough, we want to make sure they know that it's a learning experience and that we're going to teach them and guide them through the process from their first year until their last year.
So a quick comment about that. On our robot team, if you go through and you look at the varsity jacket, track, right? We got people with shotguns. We got football players. We got cross-country people. We have tons of track people. The winter sports kind of compete with us one-to-one. It doesn't work good. Look at this. This is a varsity jacket. That is a varsity letter. We are a varsity sport. Okay? And anyone that wants to say they're nerds, they can come have a little discussion with Johnny, who had to quit wrestling because of his concussion problem. Right? But we don't have that perception. We don't allow that perception. We are people. We do tend to get the nerds, but that's, I mean, you look at the people we have, we're people.
Exactly. We're running really close to our deadline, so if there's any more questions, you can feel free to join us in our other room across the hall, and I can answer any more questions that you might have. But thank you all for coming. It was a really great seminar. I'm glad we had a lot of attendees.